And it's amazing how, as Christians, it hits us really, really first and really, really hard, right? Because on Sunday mornings, we come to church. But we live Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, outside of the church. Outside of the church. So sometimes we come to church, and if we were back in the day, I'd say you come with the biggest Bible ever, and so people know you're the biggest Christian. Now I'll say you come with the best phone because you're a Bible app. Yeah, right? So you go to that app, and man, you're read, and you read, you know what the preacher's going to preach about. On Sunday, minister, they know what you're going to do, they're ready. But how does that play out on Monday when you run into that first food that hits you, and then you walk into your workplace? Are you able then to stand firmly, Pastor Couch, and live on the best side? Now I'm going to tell you, I'm guilty sometimes. I'm guilty sometimes. It's hard, Pastor Couch. Because everybody that professes it don't always live it, they don't always have it. And even though I believe it, I messed up too. Right. Amen. But I want to suggest to you that as you put God's kingdom first, as you think about the God you serve, maybe we get a better shot at it, right? Maybe we get a better shot at that. So now, and I'll come back to that. So now we find today our message coming from the gospel according to Luke. The gospel according to Luke is what we call, part of what we call the synoptic gospels. This is just a bit of a, you already know this is a warm-up, right? And so the synoptic gospels is called that because they say the same thing, Matthew, Mark, right? And then you also have John that kind of fills some of the gaps. But when you read the New Testament, those pieces line up really well, and they tell you about different parts of Jesus' life, right? And if you put them all together, you have an amazing story told by multiple people. Now, Luke is very interesting because Luke is identified as a physician, yet he loves the poor. There's something about the gospel according to Luke, for me, because he has a special affinity to the poor. Right? And so you can tell this by, if you were to read the Beatitudes, and some of you remember them, it's the group of statements that say, blessed are those who, and one of it says, blessed are those who are poor. That's found in Luke. Paul refers to him as the beloved physician. It is believed that he is also the author of Acts and the Apostles. And it's important for you to know the backstory, so you understand what's being submitted to you, right? You gotta also know the context. You gotta know something about the reader, or the writer, so you understand where it's going. So Luke died around the age of 84, according to biblical historians. That's about when. But there's something very interesting about him. He never married, and so the message we're talking about today is putting God first. And it makes it even more important when you identify a person, and this message is coming from that, when you realize that this is an example of a person who was totally committed to God. Right. Totally committed to doing God's work. So now back to the scripture, as we go back to the scripture. And it says, and it came to pass that as they went in the way, a certain man said unto him, Lord, I will follow thee whithersoever thou goest. I want you to walk with me because I want to make this come to life. If Jesus was walking in right now, we are a village, and he was walking through the door.